What kind of brand shuts down its entire production line for 72 hours just to ferment a single ingredient? In an industry obsessed with speed, scale, and surface level claims, this viral K-beauty brand took a different route, growing its own Centella on Jeju Island, perfecting a 3-day fermentation process, and rejecting fear-based marketing in favour of ingredient integrity. Today, we are going behind the scenes of the global K-beauty brand Mixsoon to find out what it actually takes to build a so-called clean beauty brand that doesn't lean into fear-mongering or fake claims and still goes viral. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, K-beauty expert, founder of Korean beauty consultancy Style Story and K-beauty brand Jellyco. Today's episode is brought to you by Mixsoon, and as you've just heard, they are also the subject of our chat today. Because when you're shutting down your production facility for 3 days just to ferment one ingredient, you earn your spot on this show. Please welcome Mina from Mixsoon.
Hi, thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here with all of the people who are listening in. I am Mina from Mixsoon. I'm the global sales manager here at Mixsoon, and I am here to answer all of your questions Mixsoon related, all of your related questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me. I am super excited to hear more about how you managed to build this company and take it from what started out as a distribution business and grew into this global cult phenomenon. So tell us a little bit more about how you went from launching to now global cult status. And most recently, I saw online that you guys are now being stocked online at Ulta in the US. How did this happen?
Absolutely. It's been quite a journey. Mixsoon actually, initially, as you mentioned, started as a distributor. The name of the company is Parket. So back in 2015, Mr. Huang, the CEO of the company, has started to realize that there is this ongoing, growing trend around K-beauty, and he wanted to be a part of it. So he started his journey as a distributor, distributing several different K-beauty brands, and being that close to the market, seeing firsthand how saturated the skincare space is becoming, and that there were a lot of long routines, overly complex formulas, and trends that felt more performative than practical. He felt like there is a need for a brand that is only focusing on what really works, the active ingredient, and that is focusing more on the quality of the ingredients that it does put in its own brand. And hence he decided to build the brand Mixsoon. Like, mix is the word like mix in English, and soon is a Korean word for purity.
Sunada.
So basically, mixing pure ingredients for everybody's skincare needs. So that's how Mixsoon was born in 2020.
Okay, and so I guess the most famous product, the one that everyone knows about, is the bean essence. So tell us, how did that come to be? How did you create this product?
That is correct. The bean essence was one of the first launches of Mixsoon, and what was really impressive about this item was that it never got popular from the top to bottom. It got popular from the bottom up, means the consumers of this product fell in love with it. Among them were like some really seriously famous makeup artists for like big celebrities. So they started to putting Mixsoon in their beauty routine and in their skincare, and that's how the Mixsoon's word spread like wildfire, and everybody started to learn about this bean essence, which is really good for your textured skin. It also does exfoliation. It's like it revives your skin from inside out, basically, and it was the whole bottom up trend, like virality of it, that made Mixsoon the success that it is today.
I've definitely sung the praises of the Bean Essence on the show before. I absolutely love that product, so that is not a surprise to me. I feel like a lot of the time it only takes one really amazing product to put a brand on the map. Just one product that everyone knows, okay, this is what the brand stands for. And I feel like that is definitely one of those products for your team, for sure. So I guess it's all well and good to have like a product that, you know, does really well that a lot of people are talking about, but in this day and age, we're in 2025 now, there is so much competition in the market. How did Mixsoon continue to not just survive and expand, but really thrive, I guess? Like, I read the other day that something like 8,831 K-beauty brands shut down in 2024. So that's 1 year alone. Like, what did you do differently than all of those other brands?
Well, that is a very thoughtful question. The thing is, like, I will believe basically beauty is not a get rich fast scheme. And we have always been planning to really be there for the customers and show up in person.
Okay.
So we did get lucky with endorsements of the end users who were in a position that had like a voice that people would listen to. But the other thing that we did that really worked was that we did so many K-beauty classes, like master classes, to talk about our products, to educate the consumers about the ingredients that we were putting in our brand. Like, we held more than 100 master classes throughout the world in the first like on a yearly basis. So each year we were having like 100 master classes where we gathered all of these people, did a pop-up event, talked to people about the products, where they could learn about the ingredients, they could try the products for themselves, see the texture, see the effect. This is actually one of the big pillars of Mixsoon that we are still staying truthful to. Like, even right now, when we have like partners who are distributing the product throughout the world, when they come to Korea, they come to our store in I forgot the word of the name of the place, but in Myeongdong, yes, they come to
Myeongdong, yep.
Myeongdong.
Yeah.
And we do the beauty class for them, and they all say, oh, this feels so nostalgic, like we were there in the beginning when these master classes were being held. So that is, I would say, one of the main reasons that people started to learn more about us, and we found a lot of good faithful partners who believed in Mixsoon. We also found a lot of good consumers who started to see the difference of Mixsoon versus what was out there, and they started advocating for us, like organically, and talking more about us. Like, I do not know if you guys know this right now, but ENHYPEN, a K-pop boy band group, has recently become one of our ambassadors. Like,
I did mention that on the show a few months ago, actually. Yes. We did a bit of a roundup of who all the ambassadors were, and that was one of the new ones. Yeah.
All right. So you guys already know about that, but ENHYPEN team, they already knew about Mixsoon, and they were using Mixsoon products because of their makeup artist recommendation before they signed the contract and become our ambassador. So that's what makes their relationship with us a little bit more special, because it's like more than just surface level.
They were already using your products. That's the best kind of endorsement, isn't it? And I feel like you can really tell also when it's not genuine, particularly these days. Yeah.
Yes. So the consumers these days have become like much smarter. So the brands that are all about publicity and just surface level advertisement, I believe they are the brands that have a struggle making it. And the brands that are showing up there for their audiences, they're there for their consumers, and they do what they believe in, and they do it well, they're here to stay longer, and hopefully Mixsoon is one of them.
That's actually really fascinating, and I feel like so many people do get their start in this industry by getting their hands dirty, so to speak. I feel like a lot of the brands that are, people are talking about them or that are creating a bit of buzz, it comes from a deep knowledge of the industry first and what the consumers actually want and are looking for, and then to take that learning away and come up with something a bit different from what everyone else is doing, rather than just approaching it from a money first perspective, a get rich quick scheme, like you said, which I think anyone that works in this industry knows that it's definitely not. It's a hard old slog. It looks glamorous maybe on the outside because it's, beauty related, but definitely there's a lot that goes on below the surface. I think one of the things that really surprised me the most about Mixsoon was your approach to your ingredients. I think that's something that makes you stand out as a brand. One of the things that you do is fermentation, but you guys take it very seriously. Can you explain to our guests or listeners who might not be familiar with it, what exactly is fermentation? Why is it such an important part of Korean culture? And what makes your process and ingredients stand out?
You're right, fermentation is a big part of Mixsoon, and it's considerable. It's not new in K-beauty. Like a lot of people just actually associate Korea with fermentation, aka kimchi.
Of course.
What we decided to do about this fermentation is that we try to approach it with care rather than just following a trend that is already doing well in Korea. For anyone who might not be familiar with fermentation is skincare specifically is the process of using good microorganisms to break down raw ingredients over time. And this helps certain compounds become. It helps making certain compounds becoming more biodegradable. Which means so your skin can actually absorb them easier, and it can see the benefits rather faster. So it's, again, as mentioned, it's a process that has long been a part of Korean food and herbal traditions, and it's just so natural that the beauty industry would just pick it right up as well. So what we do in Mixsoon that is different than other brands, and that's why we ended up getting this spot on your show, is that we actually go through a 72-hour fermentation process. We don't want it to be done just a couple of hours. We take 3 days and allow the product allow the ingredient to become as fermented as possible, if that's even a saying. So that is what we do when it comes to fermentation. The other thing that is specifically Mixsoon, which makes the ingredient preparation even longer, is our signature 72-hour low temperature ultrasonic extraction, which is these are a lot of fancy words.
Yes, you're going to have to break that one down for us.
Yes. So what I personally think about when I hear this is cold brewing. When you make coffee, there are ways of getting coffee, and cold brewing is making sure that there is less heat involved, so all of the caffeine and the strength of the taste and what makes your coffee as delicious as it is happen. It's basically what 72-hour low temperature ultrasonic extraction means. So we cold brew the ingredients, making sure that they're not exposed to heat, so their active ingredients remain intact and stay as potent as possible. So that is why I believe the bean essence reached the peak that it has. The ingredient was going through a 72 fermentation and a 72 cold brewing process, basically.
Right. I mean, we'll go into some of the implications of doing such a convoluted process like this a little bit later, but suffice it to say that is not industry standard and it's not what everyone is doing. And there's, I guess, a few business reasons as well why brands don't necessarily do that we will get into. But I guess I'm also interested then to know a little bit more. Obviously, you have been working in the K-beauty industry. We've known each other for quite a while at this point. And there have been so many trends in the last 10 years in K-beauty, particularly at the moment as the industry is going global, more people are finding out about it. Like, how did you, I guess, decide what to focus on for Mixsoon? Like, what skin type, what customers are you catering to with this particular approach to formulation?
Basically, Mixsoon is trying to actually be as age inclusive as possible. So we would like to think of ourselves as people who are catering to millennials, Gen Zs, Gen Xers, and boomers, like all at the same time, because this process that we have, which is fermentation and the whole cold brewing, makes the ingredients more potent than it actually it normally is in skincare products. So we're hoping that it would actually end up being more efficient for people of all ages. And well, yeah, K-beauty has gone through a lot of cycles, and it has had a lot of multi-step routines to ingredient fast, to packaging trends, etc., etc. So when Mixsoon was coming together, we were aware of that, and we didn't want to reinvent skincare, but we tried to pay attention to what people are responding to well, both in Korea and abroad. So a lot of the growth with Mixsoon happened by tapping into what was gaining traction, of course, things like unique textures, layering routines, ingredient transparency. So we thought, how can we make all of these put together and make the right product for the people? And that's how the bean essence was made. As you have already talked about it on the show, you know about the unique texture that it has and how well it layers with other products, and now with the ingredient transparency, as we've talked about in length.
Right.
So when bean essence went viral, it wasn't something that we were planning, but we recognized the opportunity and we built around it. So that virality of the bean essence was kind of like something that resulted in us having more followers with Gen Zs and millennials. But it was it was not the intention from the beginning to be only catering to these two age groups.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And look, I know one of the things that you, I guess, have really tapped into that has been quite popular over the last few years is, of course, this trend for clean beauty, which anyone who listens to the show will know I have been critical of over the years. And I think one of the main reasons I have been critical of it is because I think it can confuse consumers and feel a bit restrictive, or maybe even fear-driven sometimes. You know, like we've got a list of, we don't do this, and this, and, you know, this brand's dirty and we're clean. But I feel like you obviously define clean very differently. Tell me, is your Mixsoon definition of clean?
Well, clean beauty is a term that gets used in so many ways, and we understand why people can feel unsure about what it really means, because it does involve a lot of fear-mongering. At Mixsoon, we don't really see it as a strict set of rules or a long list of do's and don'ts, like avoid these ingredients at all costs. Like, no, we don't really have that kind of system in place. What we do is, what we think clean beauty is being more thoughtful about what goes into the ingredient, and pay attention to what really goes into the ingredient in the product, as opposed to what is not going into the product. And paying attention to how an ingredient is sourced, like, you know, our Centella asiatica, which we grow in our own Jeju farm in very pristine organic environments. But, you know, if something is organic and something is not, it doesn't mean the organic one is the way to do things. It's just a matter of providing people with the choice. It's we just want to have the choice of high quality premium ingredient available at the hands of our consumers. So it's not about saying, hey, whoever is not doing it like this is wrong, or their product are bad for skin. No, we're just trying to set up a new standard around what quality ingredient means.
And I feel like that does make you different because it's really about what's in it rather than what's not in it. And I guess that has always been one of the things that drives me a little bit crazy about clean beauty, because I'm like, hold on a minute. If we're only talking about what's not in your product, that's not a very good brand philosophy. Like, why don't we focus on what's actually in it? So you're, just to circle back, because I think maybe people don't realize, you guys have your own Centella Asiatica farm on Jeju Island. Like, not every brand has that. So talk us through this. That is quite unique in the industry.
Yes, that is, like, I have been in K-beauty business for over 9 years now, and this is definitely a very unique feature of Mixsoon, I would say. And I was also very surprised when I heard about it, because surprisingly the brand does not really maneuver a lot on this, even though it would be a very good marketing point, if I may say. So it's something more we use for our partners or in our beauty classes to tell people why the Centella that they are feeling feels different than other Centella ingredients, other Centella products that they might be feeling. So what we do is that we have our own farm in Jeju Island, that it's a very pristine soil that has never touched pesticide. We even do tests on the soil to make sure that it has like never been exposed to pesticides, so the environment is as organic as it can get. And even the cars that are like going around in that part of the island, they are not allowed to be gas cars. They have to be electric cars. So we are pampering the Centella as much as we can. And we don't even stop there. We even do tests on the Centellas that grow there after they grow to make sure that they're pesticide free.
Okay.
So we're hoping to we're kind of like taking organic to a whole new level when it comes to our Centellas. And then after that, we put them through the 72-hour cold brew extraction, ultrasonic, like that really long explanation, to make sure that these really pampered Centellas that are of optimum quality, they would still keep that optimum quality when they enter the bottle and become the Centella that is used for Mixsoon. So
right, because when it comes to I feel like when it comes to Centella, maybe people might not be aware of this, but really what you want is those components in the Centella that are the active components. And there's a couple of main ones that most Korean beauty brands will use, but that is really what you're trying to preserve from doing this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
No, that is correct. Yeah. And what we care about when it comes to our Centellas is that it is our Centellas. Like, it is just the ingredient that only Mixsoon can use.
Right.
At this quality level, it is more expensive, it is more costly, but well,
I was going to say, this is not a cheap thing to do. And I guess that brings it back to, why don't other brands do this? Number one, I mean, you're talking about shutting down a production facility for 3 days to do your fermentation, growing your own crops, having a farm. That's like a little bit outside the wheelhouse of a lot of brands. So that is a lot more expensive than in terms of like the price of the ingredient at the end. So tell us a little bit more about that and how that's been challenging for you as a brand.
Well, yeah, this does make Mixsoon a little bit pricier compared to we cannot do like massive discounts like our other counterparts may be able to do. So it makes us a little bit more prestige compared to just a mass brand. But well, it's just a part of the brand DNA. This is what Mr. Huang, the CEO, wanted to build. Like, this was the kind of brand that he envisioned, and it's really impressive to me as an employee. It's impressive that he's sticking by this vision.
Yeah, that's not something that everyone can do, and it's not something that I have seen, and I've worked with a lot of brands too in my time as a distributor. So that, I think, was one thing that made Mixsoon stand out for me personally. So another thing I'm a little bit interested in, so obviously a lot of your products, particularly the ones for layering, are really focused on, single ingredients, things like Centella, Bifida, galactomyces. Now, we and people that are familiar with K-beauty know what all of these are and what they're supposed to do. Like a Korean audience, if they see a product like that with that name, they kind of know what they're in for. But how did that work for you guys when you then took this brand overseas? Like, did it make it harder for you? What challenges did you face with that kind of approach?
Well, it is true that Koreans are used to these ingredients being in their skincare routines. Like it has been a part of their skincare tradition. They grew up with these ingredients, so they know well about this. And as soon as they see these names, they're like, oh, I know what this is supposed to do. They know about Centella, they know about Bifida, they know what it does in the formula. And there were concerns that if we take this overseas, consumers might be very surprised or might not know exactly what to do with these ingredients. But surprisingly, it wasn't a major barrier overseas.
Okay.
I think that mostly the reason for this was that global skincare landscape has already been primed by brands like The Ordinary or Paula's Choice, who are focusing on the ingredient and what it is meant to do for the skin.
Right.
So what we only had to do was to start explaining Korean ingredients to the consumer. And the consumer was already ready to learn about ingredients because of like giants out there who were already teaching the consumer and trying to make skincare science accessible to everybody. So we just continued on their path and started to explain to them more. Now look at this Bifida or galactomyces or Centella. These are the K-beauty ingredients. These are the ingredients that make K-beauty stand out, and let's explain what they do for your skin. So yeah, it was, even though it was a little bit different than what other brands were doing overseas and what overseas consumers were using, but we found US, Europe, and Southeast Asian consumers very curious and very open to learning about what we are offering and what we are teaching them. So it was not as hard as we once thought it would be.
Yeah, that's actually really, really surprising to me. I feel like the education piece that you were talking about, the master classes, I mean, that's how we got started in Australia, doing like meetups and explainers and things like that, literally just teaching people. So I feel like that also goes a long way to kind of bridging the gap. Obviously, it's all a bit of a moot point now because Mixsoon has absolutely exploded. You are seemingly everywhere on international shelves. I guess I'm curious, like, what is next for you guys? Where do you go from here?
Well, you just mentioned that we recently just launched with Ulta, and the launch is going to get even bigger and hopefully reaching more how do you say, ground level of things.
Okay.
To be
Okay. Okay. Let's keep an eye out for what that might mean.
All right. Yes, to be announced very soon, hopefully.
Okay.
And we are also getting a lot of traction with Watson groups in the EU region. So, like a lot of DM stores are reaching out to us and they want to have us. Rossmann stores like Muller and the likes. We are having a lot of expansion in Europe thanks to these retailers as well. And the other thing that we are trying to do with our ingredient first skincare is that we are seeing the ingredients that people are now showing more interest in overseas, like PRN, collagen. So what we're trying to do is that we're trying to apply the quality standards that we have for Mixsoon ingredients and mix it with these popular ingredients and make a whole new level of collagen or PDRN product out there. So
very interesting. Okay, I'm excited to see what that might involve from you guys, because I feel like that's going to be a little bit different from what other people are doing.
Yes, it's definitely different. It's not. We are hoping that the end consumer would agree to this, but we're really putting all of our effort in raising the standard for quality of ingredients in a skincare product.
I feel like that's definitely, for me, probably the most interesting part of your brand, to be honest. I think that I'm a bit of an ingredient nerd, a bit of an ingredient junkie, so I love sort of hearing like how it all kind of comes together. I think the last episode we did was actually on the trends and whatnot from in cosmetics. So this is kind of, this is my jam. I love hearing about all of this stuff. So I honestly am fascinated to see where you guys go next. You mentioned you are increasing your range of SKUs. In addition to these new ingredients, are there any like hints you can give us? Like what might you guys be coming out with next?
Well, definitely, I already mentioned that collagen and PDRN is definitely the next ranges that is coming out. We're also increasing our sunscreen variety for the US audience because, it's very hard for K-beauty brands to get an FDA-approved sunscreen. So we're shaping those barriers a little bit too. And we are watching out what people are asking us. We are very open to listening to what Mixsoon audience wants to see in Mixsoon next. And what we do is that we just add a touch of Mixsoon to its ingredient quality and where the ingredient is being sourced from and make a new product for them.
That is absolutely fascinating. Well, look, if people, for whatever reason, don't already know about Mixsoon or aren't already following you, where can they find you guys?
Well, we have, right now we have like several official Instagrams actually, but of the ones that are most followed are like Mixsoon Official or Mixsoon US for the US audience, where we talk a lot about the events that we're running on our TikTok shop or on our Amazon storefront or on our Shopify store, which is mixsoon.us. And we also have our TikTok store, of course, like Mixsoon US and Mixsoon Official. Again, there are several. If you type Mixsoon and then there's Mixsoon like dot initial of a country, something, that's most probably run by us.
All right, and I will have links to all of this in the show notes, so don't worry about going and finding them and following them. I will make it really easy for you guys. Thank you, honestly, so much for running us through all of this. I feel like we've got to know a lot of stuff that is... People don't necessarily know this stuff. I feel like there's the stuff that you see on social media and the stuff that like pops up on the For You page, and maybe like people get a certain impression of a brand or whatnot, but when you dig a little bit deeper into the surface, I feel like Mixsoon is a brand that is more surprising the more you kind of dig into it. You know, everything from the way that you guys approach ingredients to obviously your Centella farm on Jeju that I'm really curious. I wanna check this farm out. But thank you very much for sharing so many of these insights and I guess secrets with us. So look, whether, I guess, you know, we would love for people to go and check you guys out. But yeah, a huge thank you also to you and the Mixsoon team for supporting this episode, letting us peek behind the curtains of a K-beauty brand, honestly, that from my perspective is rewriting the rules. If our audience members have tried Mixsoon before, I personally would love to know what is your ride or die product from the range. Leave me a comment, send me a DM. I'm always curious to find out what's made it into your skincare lineup. And I guess if you have any questions, if anyone from our audience has questions, where should they direct them? If they have product recommendation requests or whatnot, where should they send those?
Well, I can share with you my LinkedIn information where people can reach out directly, or I can share with you the customer service email access for people who do not use LinkedIn, and people can just reach out and have all of their Mixsoon questions answered.
Excellent. Let us do that. I will pop those in the show notes. So thanks once again for joining us. If you are a regular listener of the show, then obviously I will see you in the next episode. If you are joining us for the first time, please make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, keep following along. And until next time, I will see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for having me.